Yo! Welcome back to a brand new Craftopia guide. In today's guide, we're going to be talking about the new building pieces that dropped with the winter update. Now, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like and subscribe. Comment down below of any help that you may need in the game, or what do you think of these winter update building pieces. But let's do this. Now, I've set up a little flat land here for us to just go crazy with all the new building pieces and fully take a look at all the pieces and what it takes to make them. First of all, you will find all of the new building pieces within the furniture workbench. Now, even though I am in creative, we are still going to go through what it takes to make each of these building pieces. So let's start at the very top and work our way down. So right at the very top, you will see we have wall-mounted billboards. These work exactly the same as our normal billboards, but they are wall-mounted. And they require the exact same resources to make, just one iron ingot and 2 logs. So just like our billboards, we would place them where we like. They would then pop up and we would type in here whatever we would like, and that would label that area. Now, these are especially useful because you can now place them wherever you like. You don't have to have a floor for them to land on. Previously, they were good for labeling chests, but you had to place them either in front, behind, or on top of the chest. Whereas with this one, you can actually attach it to the front of a chest. This just allows for better labeling, and it just looks a lot cleaner, as you can have it flush against the wall as opposed to the previous billboards where there was a little gap. Moving on, we have different variations of the plaster wall. Now, this is the plaster wall here. We've had this in the game for a little while, and these are the resources to craft it. Well, now we have medieval versions, which are basically exactly the same. They require the same resources to craft, they just look slightly different. So this is the standard plaster wall we've always had. It's got the cool wooden border around the top. Well, now we have these medieval versions, which can be plain white with a wooden border along the top, but then they also have the wooden border on the back, so you can rotate that however you like if you want to give it the border or not. And these are all the different variations of that wall. You have these different kind of arched wooden effects. You then have these straight kind of crossed out effects. And then you have that straight vertical effect. So these are all the different variations. These two are the same here. One just has the border on the inside as opposed to the outside. You can choose which side you like, but if you see, the other sides are completely plain. This allows you to potentially have plain on the inside, patterned on the outside, or however you want to do it. And you can choose any of these patterns that suits your fancy. Back into our furniture workbench now, and we have the same kind of walls, but these ones are fortified city stone walls. They only require 10 stone and 5 logs to create, and these two, you can choose which pattern you like, whether you want the plain effect or you want the wooden borders on them as well. It's exactly the same patterns as the plaster walls, however, it just has the brick effect behind it, and it looks very cool. Next, we have these 3 different little wall fence kind of accessory builds. There's 2 wooden ones which both require 5 logs each to make, and then there's a concrete one which requires 10 stone. The wooden one without a border looks like this. It's very cool looking, probably a little bit better to attach together. It looks a lot more seamless. Then we also have the option to have one with a border, whereas these thicker parts of wood on there, which are also very cool, and they do still go together nicely, but this little double part here, that frustrates me. It would go even because it would go all the way along, but this just looks a lot cleaner, but you could use them for different builds and they would suit differently. And next we have these little stone curbs. These are very cool looking. They give everything a nice finish. They only require 10 stone to make as well, so you can go quite crazy with these, and they just make it look better than having just the cut off edges to the floors like we currently have. These just make everything look so much cleaner. Next we have some medieval flooring. We have wooden and we have concrete. The wooden ones just require 10 logs and the concrete ones require 10 stone. So we have a medieval wooden. These ones have the straight wood. It looks very cool. You can pattern it together quite nicely and it all sits very clean together. Next we have this medieval kind of zigzaggy pattern if you want to mix it up a little bit. Then we have medieval plaster floor. These ones require stone. This is the floor I've been using here. It's so clean. I really like it. Then we have a fortified floor, and these ones are very cool as well. They also require stone. We then have a darker version of that, which is also 10 stone to create. And finally, one of my favorites, the cobblestone flooring. It's a nice clean pathway kind of floor. I really like this. I've been using this a lot in one of my bigger builds. And we also then do have the ramps to match as well, and they require the exact same resources as the floor to make. And they really do make everything so clean where it all just matches up so nicely. And finally, we have the lava floors and slopes. Now, these are very cool. They don't inflict damage like normal lava, but they do set things on fire. So if you do walk into them, you will set on fire. So you can use them for actually hurting mobs. They're just very cool. I like them. They are just a cool look as well. So you could get some really interesting builds with these. And these two only require 10 stone to create. So next we move on to windows and doors. Now, windows and doors, we also got a huge improvement. These are the basic plaster windows that we had already. They just require stone, sand, and straw to create. Well, now we have these better versions. Just by adding wood into those materials, for just 5 logs, 5 stone, 5 sand, and 5 straw, you can create these medieval plaster windows, and they are so nice looking. We're going to go through all of them now. Let's start off with doors very quickly. So these are the original plaster doors that we had. They are quite cool looking, but we now have these matching medieval versions that match the walls that we got, the medieval walls. So these are a lot nicer looking. You can choose to have the border around or not again. And this is the one with the arched top, and then we have one with a straight top along the top of the door as well. So the choice is yours. It's very nice looking. We did only get those 2 for the plaster though, but still very, very nice. In terms of windows, we did get some huge upgrades. So these are the original plaster windows we had, and now we have these way improved arched versions that actually have glass in them. So if you get to a right angle, it doesn't help too much that this game makes walls disappear, but you can see it does have glass in them. They do look way cooler than the original plaster windows, and we have a lot of different variations of them as well. So you can have the smaller arched windows, you can have the square windows, the bigger windows, the tiny little windows, the arched windows, and the square windows, each with their own wooden border effect round as well. So you can choose which design you want for your windows. And of course, they have the fortified versions as well, which just require 5 logs and 10 stone. And it also has this very cool arch. It requires the same resources to create, just the 10 stone and 5 logs. And then the windows are the exact same as the plaster, just with the wood effect. So they still have the glass in, and you can choose which variation you want. And they are all so nice looking. I personally really like this upgrade. The glass is just a game changer for me. I really like this, and I can't wait to actually fully get in depth with this. I've been working on a big build, but I haven't been able to just go crazy with customization, as I'm mainly working on layout right now. I can't wait to actually fully focus on the fine details. And the cool thing is we did also get doors to go with those frames as well. We got arched ones and straight ones, both requiring 2 iron ingots and 4 logs. And these 2 look very cool. So they give it a lot more of a fortified look, which is just awesome. And they open and close really cool. I just like them. It really gives a closed look off. The only thing I don't like is the fact that we didn't get the brick effect for these style doors. These doors would look awesome on the brick style frames. But unfortunately, we only got plaster with the arched and the straight, and the fortified was the bigger arch, which we don't have a door for. Moving on to the roof, we got a few new roofs, and they are very easy to make. They only require 5 logs, 5 stone, 5 sand, and 5 straw. Basically, all the new medieval stuff needs the same resources to create. It just varies if it's plaster or medieval. So we got the gables, which are for roof ends. These look very cool. They're very nice looking. They also look great on the side of slopes to give it a stair effect. We then got these diagonal medieval roofs. They look very cool. I like them. You could put the gables on the end, which will give them a nice finish. We got this little extra roof part, which is very cool. And you can actually put them on these slopes. So it gives it a bit of a different effect. They are kind of pointless, but they just look very cool. And you could give your house a bit of a better finish. And we got the same thing, but without a window. So it's just a little extension part. And again, you could put the roof behind it if you wish. You just need to put the roof down first. And finally, I'm going to place this one a little bit higher so you can fully see it all. But we have this whole extension side here. So this one is actually a little room. You could put this on the side of the building, which would give it a bit of an extension effect on the front. It looks very cool. And talking of extensions, that's exactly what we got. We got room extenders. These only require 20 logs, 20 stone, 20 sand, and 20 straw. And there's different sizes available, but they all require the same resources. And this is exactly how they work. So I've put a row of walls along here, and I can now place this onto here. So we have these different sizes available. They are so nice looking. So we have the big 4 arched windows, which is a little bit taller. And then we have one with a lower down roof, which is just a bit more of a compact version, but they both look pretty much the same. We then have a little 2 window, which is very nice. You can do some really nice looking builds with these. You can connect them, but some of them don't line up perfectly. And finally, we got the same again, but the lower version. So it's a very small little extension, but these are all usable rooms as well. And you can build inside them or just wall them off if you wish. And we also got this very cool little balcony that only requires 10 logs to make. And you can just attach it to any wall that you like to give it a little balcony. It's very nice, it's very clean, and it's very cheap. Next, we have some medieval stairs that only require 3 stone to make, and medieval pillars that only require 5 stone to make. The medieval stairs are slightly strange. They are very small, and you can kind of build them up however you like, but they do connect together nicely, so you can kind of get creative with it, but yeah, they're a little weird. And the pillars are just a nice little decoration piece, so you have these ones like this, and then you have the kind of more solid looking versions. You can gridlock these or you can take them off. But there you go, you have these 2 little pillars here for good customization. Moving on, we have some new lights. These require 3 iron ingots, 1 bioethanol, and 1 campfire. There are 3 different variations available, one with just 1 light on the side, one with 2 lights on the side, and one with a light and a flag. Now the flag isn't customizable, but you can turn the lights off on each of the posts. Moving down to decoration now, and we have a bunch of different vases. These require 3 clay to make for each of them. Now these are very small, so you might want to put them onto a table or something, but they look very cool and will definitely allow for great customization. Next, we have 2 different flower pots, both requiring the same resources to create, just 2 stone, 2 sand, 2 ceramic, and 1 treed seedling. Now these are a very nice touch. You could really put some nice decoration into a nice little village or a town or something with these, but you can just drop these anywhere and they look very cool. Next, we have 2 different display stands. They just require 10 logs to make. They're very basic. They are just wooden boxes, but they basically allow you to have shelves of some kind. You could put an item display on top of it. They're just cool looking, but they don't do anything. And one of my favorite additions that they added is the fountain. This just requires 20 stone, 20 sand, and 4 treed seedlings. But it is also very worth it because it's so nice looking. It just adds a whole new feeling to a kind of town build, but you will have to use the fortified flooring, but it is the nicest looking flooring anyway because you'd want it all to match. Next, we got 5 variations of dice, and these all just require 5 bioplastic to create. So you can choose which variation you want, but these are very cool. We like to do events, and this is going to make a great addition to the events. And also, if you use the gravity glove, you can pick them up and you can throw them and they actually roll. This allows us to bring gambling into the game somehow. And talking of games, we also got toy blocks. These only require 5 logs to make any of them, but these are very big and would allow you to do some cool customizations. The cool thing is they are fully movable with the gravity glove. So you could create a Jenga, you could just create a collapsible tower, you could do whatever. They don't have normal wall mechanics. They are movable blocks. So if you punch them, they don't react like a normal wall. If you use your gravity glove on them, you can pick them up. So you could actually put together a little tower. See what you can come up with. Let's see. Let's see what we can do right now. Let's see how easy this is. We're going to bring this up here. We're going to come over and grab this one here. This has got to go up on top. Oh, yeah. And then we need a roof for that up there. So let's get this big one here. Can we get up there? Okay, we can grip onto it. Nice. And I don't know how I'm going to get this one up on top, but let's just try that. Oh, I can drop it. Okay, so, yeah, you might need to mess around with it a little bit, but you get the idea. We got building blocks now. Moving away from games now and back to signposts. We have two different medieval item frames, both requiring one iron ingot, one log, and one old rag. So these are the two variations that we have. They're just slightly different shape. But we can come into these, we can place an item inside them, we can choose the scale, the rotation, and all that kind of thing, and they would sit in there like a shop sign, basically, which looks very cool. Next, we have two transparent item stands. These both require 5 glass to create, and these work like any other item stand, but they are invisible. So as you can see, it is so small on my crosshair there. I can place one down there, and I've also got this little square one to place down. Now, some of them you can place on walls, some of them you can't, but if I was to click on this now, I could place a weapon in there, and boom, we got an item stand, and it's completely invisible. We also got two aquariums. These both require 1 iron ingot, 1 log, and 4 glass. Now, they are both very different sizes, so it's weird they require the same resources. Now, the first one is a fish tank on a stand. So these work exactly the same as an item frame. So you can put anything inside, but preferably you would put your fish. You've then got this much bigger version, which is why I said it's weird they require the same resources, but we can just go up to these, we can interact, and we could place anything inside. So I could place this fish in there, and now I have my very own fish in the fish tank. And we can do the same with this one, but again, you don't have to use actual fish. You can if you want, and you could even up the scale, make it a big fish. Let's go full size fish. There we go, we've got giant koi fish in there now, but if we want to, we could remove that, and we could actually place a sword in there and decide we want a sword in our fish tank. We could even hit the rotation of it to make sure it stays in the tank, but there you go, we got aquariums. And finally, for the item stands, we got the katana rack. This just requires 1 iron ingot and 1 log. And again, this is just an item stand, so we can use anything we like in here. You don't have to use a katana. So we could just use this normal sword here, and it will place it in like so. But they added it with the new katanas, so I guess they wanted it to be used for them. But you can literally use anything on it. You don't even have to use a sword. If you want to, you could have a koi fish on there. Now, I was a little bit disappointed with the furniture we received, but we did receive this medieval desk. It is 8 logs to craft. It's very nice looking. It's a desk. And of course, we got a matching chair, which is only 5 logs to create. And it's a medieval chair. It matches the table. We then got 3 different variations of these little huts. They just require 4 stone, 10 old rags, and 5 logs to create. Now, I personally really like these. I think they would make a great thing for our merchants, especially this one here, which is closed in. If you block this gap here, then your merchant would be stuck inside here, which gives him a little stool, which I think is very nice. But otherwise, they also make for great customization. We then got medieval storm shutters. These require 4 stone and 5 logs. Storm shutters are used on the side of your windows. You place them on the side like this, or you can actually place them inverted so they would actually be closed on the window. However you want to do it, but they allow for great customization either way. And we also have some medieval window boxes. These just require 2 stone, 2 sand, 2 ceramic, and 1 tree seedling. These allow us to fully customize our windows and just make everything look a little bit prettier. We then have a medieval flag which requires 4 stone, 5 logs, and 5 iron ingots. These are very nice looking as well, would be great for the medieval build and the kingdom kind of build. The only thing is they're not changeable like the other flags are, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. And finally, we have a King Mono doll. A little bit different, but this requires 30 King Mono fluid, 60 old rags, and 100 sheep wool. And it takes all those resources because he is huge. He's so cool looking. I absolutely love him. And also, you can put him onto an item stand and make him even bigger. And I mean a lot bigger. And there we have it. That is all the new building pieces we received in the winter content update. Now, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do drop a like and subscribe. Comment down below of any help that you may need in the game, or what's your thoughts on these winter update building pieces and what's your favorite. Now, at the time of making this video, the winter update hasn't dropped for the Xbox yet, but I will of course let you guys know as soon as I know any information, but there just isn't anything as of yet. And I also want to say thank you to everybody in the Discord. We just passed 500 members. If you would like to join the Discord, the link will be down in the description below. But most importantly, enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace!